Welcome back to the channel, and some big news surrounding the Boeing 777X and the ongoing certification process after years of delays and troubles. Trade publication The Air Current and leading editor John stated that the Federal Aviation Administration had given Boeing the go-ahead to proceed with the next phase of certification, reporting that the next phase focuses on system demonstrations driven by information from two individuals familiar with the matter at hand. The development represents another step in the right direction for the manufacturer, which has been struggling to obtain the necessary approval for its 777X program on repeated occasions due to several issues. This represents additionally the fourth of 5 stages in the certification program, so a process for flight certification commencing just over a year ago is finally way more than halfway through and nearing its end. As a result of all the delays I've touched on, the new long-haul jet sits 5 years delayed, and its intended entry into service still without the necessary certification would represent a 6-year delay. When Boeing launched the 777X, it expected the aircraft to receive the approval in 2020. That did not eventuate, with a global pandemic arriving, GE9X engine issues stopping certification, and several other concerns with how the plane maker was going about the production of its other aircraft. You can imagine that progress on the 777X was stagnated for an extended period. Boeing, after this, continued to push back the certification estimates of the 777X. I would give you every pushback date, but frankly there were too many to count, and as a result, for a period, it went on to then not publicly state when approval was to be expected. It was mainly dictated by airlines that chose to speak publicly on their best guess. Most recently, however, the plane maker was forced to publicly delay the launch from 2025 to 2026 after internal realizations that progress was not moving necessarily in the right direction quick enough to achieve the timeframes laid out. Keyword there being quick enough. Boeing, knowing it doesn't want to rush this, the FAA would not also be allowing Boeing to rush the process. Emirates forecasts the first delivery sometime in 2027, but they haven't been afraid to say that a 2028 delivery timeframe could be the more likely. This would be 8 years after that initial date was put forward. Cathay Pacific and ANA were also two other international airlines, soon to be operators of the 777X, that have publicly adjusted their expectations this year to align with some of the reporting on the program. It isn't all doom and gloom though. That gives you a great understanding of some of the delays that the program has experienced, but airlines certainly have a bit more renewed confidence in getting the plane eventually. At one point, we were in a period where Emirates was threatening to cancel orders for the Boeing 777X, almost in retaliation for all the pressure it was being put under without having these planes by its side. Spoiler, it didn't cancel the planes. In fact, it went on to order more aircraft. You'd probably say using some of that frustration as leverage to secure better terms on a new contract. As time and time again, Sir Tim Clark has said, the 777X is perfect for them, and arguably it's the only plane in that field that works. They don't have another option. While the A350-1000 does exist, and many would point towards as being the competitor, for some airlines it is the 777X that shines through. In terms of the delays, there has been just a plethora of them. I touched on one being the GE9X, but all in all and holistically, you're looking at an aircraft that has been driven by a much more heightened certification program. Onlookers arguing that this has been unlike any other. It represents a new era of approval and a new era of control on plane makers with approval. See, the 777X's birth came at a time just after 2 Boeing jets crashed. Investigations unfortunately revealed that corners were cut in the design, certification, and ultimately day-to-day production processes. You see, financial gain was prioritized over safety. Therefore, we've seen a dramatic shift in how new planes are approved. That stretches over to Airbus, who you may recall had their A321XLR delayed due to concerns over a fire risk could emerge thanks to that additional fuel tank, pushing back the entry into service by over a year. At Boeing, with their 777X, with a couple more issues than that aircraft, you can understand you can probably sit here today and understand why it's been a more lengthy process, but we're getting closer. Airlines' optimism is finally back arriving rather than pure negativity on the program, and hopefully next year we receive that all-important certification, which Boeing is progressing with. Keen to hear your take down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your next industry recap.
And we'll fly.